what is going on? I just discovered this website this morning. It's called data.ca.gov and it has 4,518 data sets as part of the California Open Data Project, which I had never heard about this. It's supposed to improve collaboration, transparency, and lead to innovation and effectiveness. And if you live in California, you know that our government is not effective at anything. They can't even build a stupid train. But yeah, I don't know what I'm looking for, what we're going to accomplish. Might be a wild goose chase, but I thought it would be fun to point Claude and ChatGPT Codex and Grok at this and see what we can find. So let's see what we can do here. So I made one giant folder and I'm going to use that and I'm going to try to do something that I've never done, which is pointing all three of the tools at the same folder at the same time and letting them build together. Usually I'll let one go and then make the other one go, but we're gonna see if we can get all three of them going into here. So that's what we're gonna do. So first I gotta get Claude pointed at that folder. And I'm gonna let Fable take the lead here. And so let's just go ahead and describe what we want to do. I set up this folder as a new project. I am going to have you and ChatGPT Codex and Grok Build all be collaborating on one project inside of this folder. So I need to make sure that any markdowns or documentation that you create in here can be accessed by the other tools so that we're all speaking the same language. What we're going to do today is use the data.ca.gov website. And let's see, I got that domain wrong, so let's fix that. Data.ca.gov. I really don't know anything about this data. I just found it, and it looks like there's over 4,500 data sets on all kinds of things related to the California government, including grants, no bid contracts, department budgets, etc. So I just want to try to figure out if there's things that we can use in there to find patterns of fraud and waste in the California government. So that is the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. So first we just need to go through and get a project set up. I think a lot of what we're going to be doing is downloading CSV files and putting them into a relational database. So I think that that's the first thing that we need to do is make a database that is ready to accept data sets as we find them. All right. I don't think I have the chat open. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me. And then let's go ahead and get Codex pointed at that. No, I want collabs. There we go. All right, let's tell it what to do. This is a new project folder. I'm going to have you collaborate with Claude Code and Grok Build. We are going to work on a project analyzing the data.ca.gov website and trying to see if we can find any kind of data sets that are on that we can stitch together to look for patterns of government waste and outright fraud. Claude is setting up a database in the folder right now that's going to be a relational database because most of the data sets look like they're CSV files. So we also have to make sure that the documentation and all the markdown files that all three of you guys are using are done in such a way so that all three of you are working from the same script and the same documentation. So if you want to go ahead and look at what Claude's doing and get yourself initialized, and we'll get started. Thanks, man. Welcome to the stream. And then next is, let's go ahead and get Grok working on this one. Let's go ahead and get Grok working on this one. So we got to get into the folder, Grok. Where are you at, KJL? Where are you located at? All right, I got to type with Grok. All right, so I told Grok, this is a new project folder. I'm going to have you, Claude Code, and ChatGPT Codex collaborate on our project where we look at all the data that's available on data.ca.gov and try to find patterns of government waste and fraud. Claude is setting up a database for us to use because most of the data is CSV files. We have to make sure that all three of you are working from the same markdown files and documentation in the project and not stepping on each other. All right, so that's got all three of them kind of going. Let's see what Claude was working first. So Claude is doing what here? So we're using Claude Fable. It looks like it put in Python, installed DuckDB. Fine. It'll explain while it's using it in a moment. So it's doing some setup. ChatGPT Codex is done. It's initialized and aligned with Claude's setup. Agents.md is the single source of truth for Claude Codex and Grok. DuckDB. Okay, cool. So it can see that Codex is still building the scaffolding, and then let's see what Grok has got going on over here. Claude set up the right coordination. Database currently only has a smoke test. That's correct. It's got a plan for avoiding collisions, which is important, making sure that when I've got multiple tools that they're not stepping over and like deleting what the other one's building and all that. Locked into the shared docs, ready to hunt promising data sets on data.gov. All right, so yeah, when Claude gets done, then we'll do that. Okay, so Claude's done. It's set up Claude.md, which points to agents.md. That's important because Grok and ChatGPT both look for an agents.md file, and then Claude looks for a Claude.md. So it trained itself to make sure that all three of them are looking at the same agents.md. It's got a README so that people can look at it, and then it's set up some stuff. Database is duckdb, single file like SQLite. So all three tools open the same database with zero setup. All right, I don't know what this DuckDB thing is. Let's find out. Can you explain DuckDB more? I haven't used that before, I want to make sure that we're setting up a relational database, because I think that a big part of this project is going to be trying to figure out how these things fit together. I think that the government has just dropped a massive amount of data out on the public with the assumption that none of us are actually smart enough to put the pieces together. So that's the biggest challenge we're going to be dealing with here. Watch with 2x speed. Yeah, man. I watch most YouTube videos with 2x speed. I wish I could talk with 2x speed. Okay, so it's a full relational database with real SQL tables, good joins, foreign keys, etc. Stores data in columns instead of rows. That's weird. Says it's optimized for analyst work. Okay. So it's building a join example, trying to win me over on this DuckDB thing. Cool. All right, we'll use it. It's won me over. So now I want all of them to just start looking through that website, because again, there's 4,518 data sets, which is insane. But I know that they've got a database of no bid contracts, and I know that there's some shady stuff going on there for sure. Like Gavin Newsom and his baby diaper scheme. I know for sure there's some shady stuff happening there. Maybe I shouldn't say I know for sure. I think for sure. And then there was like stuff about grants. I think a lot of these are probably stupid, like California Ridgeway Rail Species Habitat Model. Although that might allow us to figure out why so much money has been wasted on that stupid train project with nothing. This one, Medi-Cal eligible counts. There's got to be some stuff going on there. I would imagine they are frauding away billions on Medi-Cal. So I think we've got an endless number of threads that we can explore here. Yeah, so that's the first thing. All right, let's go into Codex. Okay, I think the first task has to be going through and understanding what data sets are actually on this site, because it's over 4,500 and it's a lot. And so I think we've got to figure out 10 to 20 to start with that are good high value data sets to start investigating. I know that there's something on there about grants. I know that there's stuff on there about no bid contracts, potentially Medi-Cal. So really just going through and understanding what data sets are out there and what might be worth starting to look at. So if you can do that analysis first, thank you. I like to try to be polite to my LM. I say please and thank you. I feel like it gets us a good relationship going. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this same prompt. I'm going to pop it into Claude, let it cook. Yeah, Claude, I have a feeling we're not going to be able to work for very long on Claude. It's going to blow through all my freaking usage because it's what Anthropic does. And then I'm going to put that same paste prompt into Grok. So now we've got all three of them going out to try to find some interesting data. while they're working, I'm just going to drop the live stream link in my school community. Looks like we got some new members. That's good. All right. All right. Yeah, so this is the part where the AI just becomes insanely possible because it would have taken me a week just to sort through and figure out what their structure is and how I sort through it, but especially now that I've got three pointing at it, it's going to unravel it. It's going to figure out where the keys are at, and it's going to figure out what all is there. So that's going to save a massive amount of time. Claude said instead of clicking through 4,500 web pages, it can pull the entire catalog's metadata, titles, description, publishing agency, file formats, update files. In a few API calls, load it into our own database and query it like any other data set. So that is going to be sick. What is ChatGPT doing? Build a ranked shortlist rather than searching by keyword. Okay, so it's looking for stacks of files that we can join. Things with bids, historical Medi-Cal providers, incentive payments. Oh my God, dude, this is gonna be incredible. Tell you what, I should point it. Just like let's just unwind the train. Let's just spend all of our effort figuring out how you wasted $100 billion on an imaginary train and there's not a single mile of track. Where is that money? I don't care what party you're in, that should make you mad. Whatever party you're in, you should be mad about the fact that they've spent $100 billion and we don't have a single mile of track. That's just one. We have endless data sets in here, endless opportunities to figure out why these knuckleheads are wasting our money and our life just gets worse and worse and worse every year in California. If you guys have ideas, drop them in chat. If you like, feel free to jump out to that data.ca.gov and look through. If you think that there's data sets that are interesting, drop it in there. You can look at the black-crowned night heron protected habitat. What a freaking waste of time and money that is. See, I mean, just like going through and understanding these data sets takes so much work. ArcGIS, that's like a map system. I've used that before. These protected habitats might be interesting. If we could pull all of those together and put them onto some kind of map, I feel like that would end up being interesting. Lease use. Statewide property inventory started in 1989. A proactive approach to managing the state's real property assets in computerized format. Interesting. Capture detailed information on land owned and leased by the state, structures owned and leased by the state, property the state leases to the private sector. That one, there's got to be something there. I'm pretty sure there's some shady deals going on inside the real estate. Leases were added in 2004 by executive order. Interesting. This is, yeah. That one's interesting. Let's see if any of these guys are done. All right, Claude's got back to me. So it pulled the entire catalog, loaded into our database. Interesting. Over half of the data is fish and wildlife GIS data. It's ridiculous. And it marked that as irrelevant. Um, I think I want to create a separate database for the fish and wildlife stuff. 1,232 data sets are money related, and they cluster in a handful of agencies. The State Comptroller's Office, let's go. Department of Health Services, Medi-Cal, lots of waste there. General Services, the State Library, Grants Portal, yep, and the Healthcare Finances. Bada bing, let's go. Shortlist. Provider suspended and ineligible list. The state's own Medi-Cal fraud Medi-Cal fraud exclusion list, updated daily. It's the crown jewel starter. Every other data set gets cross-referenced against it. Approved non-competitive bids, literally the no contract bids you mentioned. Current through this month. Okay, that's good. Grant portal awards. Statewide grants with recipient names and amount. Purchase order data. 2012 through 2015. It's ridiculous, man. Do they not have an updated version of that? Okay, SCO County, City, Special District expenditures and revenue. This is the exact data class that exposed the City of Bell scandal. And special districts get almost no press scrutiny. That is wonderful. Let's help fix that problem. Portal has real gaps, obviously. They're not going to make it easy. Current state contracts live on Cal eProcure. Salaries on publicpay.ca.gov. Budget detail on Open Fiscal. All right. Go ahead and document the fish and wildlife stuff. I want to sidebar that for now. I do feel like it would be interesting in the future to make a fish and wildlife GIS database and see what we find there. But for today's purposes, it's kind of irrelevant. I do like the idea of getting the post 2015 data like Cal eProcure, the salaries, all the other stuff that you found. So let's make sure that that's well documented because I want to come back to that. And then I think let's work through your recommended ingest order and we can start working on that immediately. All right, let's get Fable going. Let's see what Codex is doing here. Completed the initial portal survey and consolidated with Claude and Grok's work. So it came up with a short list. Grants offered Medi-Cal providers. Hospital, city, county. The city, county, special district expenditures. That one's interesting. Excludes Department of Technology approvals. Interesting. So Claude has also found various data sets that are interesting and is updating the documentation. So go ahead and take a look at that. Update what you found. Claude is already downloading some data sets into the database. So I'd like you to start downloading some of the stuff that you found interesting and just making sure that you guys aren't working on the same thing at the same time so that you're not stepping on each other. Let me know if you have questions on that. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Go ahead and jump in the chat. All right, let's see what Grokster found. So it found the API. It's interesting that Claude and Grok both found the API, but ChatGPT didn't seem to find it. Street and road expenditures. Yeah, that's got to be a lot of waste going on there. Okay, so Grok has jumped forward to thinking about different ways to analyze the data once we get it. All right. So I got all three of them. Should be downloading things. We'll see. All right, we are downloading CSV files. It's not too bad. It's interesting. See what we find. One of the real questions is if I find something, what do I do with it? Because I really don't have that many followers to be able to like get people to see it. But we'll see. I've got to be able to find something in here. 4,500 data sets. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Who's in here? Still got two people? Jump in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you have ideas while we're waiting on the tools to do work. I haven't done this where I've got three tools working on the same project at the same time. I'm interested to see if they end up choking each other up. All right. It is cool that I can just point these tools and say download them, get everything set up. And this would take hours and hours and hours of work to do manually. Yeah, I mean, I post on X, but I have I think 240 followers on X. Like I have no audience, so no one really sees what I do. starting to get more YouTube subscribers, which is good. This isn't really my primary thing. I just kind of was, it's Saturday morning, I was bored, and somehow I don't really even understand how I found this data.ca.gov link, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let's see what we can find on there. So it might just be a giant exercise in futility, but we might also find something. Okay, so they added, so ChatGPT added the meta-cal. Sounds good. Keep going, please. Data Republican? Who's Data Republican? Should I look her up? Exposing where the money flows. Not really a very good website there, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it's so unfortunate that figuring out where all of our money is being spent has become partisan. That is one thing that all of us should be able to agree on. I absolutely don't understand how anyone, regardless of what party you're in, how anyone cannot be irritated that California has wasted $100 billion and we don't have a single track of this train. I don't care who you vote for. That should make you mad. Got 5 people in here. Let's go. So these guys are still working. Grok's still working. See, look at all this stuff that they've got to do. Building scripts and structuring data and inserting it. Just tons and tons of work that if it was still humans doing all this, I mean, this would be massive. But, you know, like we can literally do like years of work in a matter of hours with these AI tools. All right. Claude has come back to me. It's got a bunch of grant stuff. Local government finance data we can't get to. Sites down. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So two early signals from the sanity queries in the no bid list. Epidarius DBA Amity Foundation. That sounds shady right away. Appears under 2 name variants, total $722 million. $722 million against 13 no bid approvals. That is insane. It's still stuck on this 2012 to 2015 purchase orders, which I don't really know what we're going to do about that. That's like way too old. Yeah, I do want you to keep going. In the meantime, let's see what this stupid thing is. We're going to use Google for that. The hell is Epidarius? What the F kind of word? Okay, they do have a website. Interesting. Social service and social justice equals social progress. Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of BS right away. Founded in Tucson, Arizona. Why would why would a California nonprofit be founded in Tucson, Arizona? Is that not weird? Am I the only one that thinks that weird? Began as a therapeutic community and evolved into a teaching community. Mission is to foster personal growth. Okay, so these guys are 20,000 people served every year. 92 cents of every dollar goes to direct services, but that means that 8 cents of every dollar is taken away. And if you're siphoning off $1 billion, that means that you guys are keeping $80 million. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Um, yeah, so LA, the Central Valley. In prison treatment readiness methods. Yeah, so these are probably a bunch of those shady people that are making money off of people that are trapped in addiction, which is a real problem that we have in California. A lot of these people that are homeless, most of them are because they're addicted, and they need help. They need help to get out of the situation. But unfortunately, we have a bunch of these like charities that are making it easier for them to stay trapped in addiction. They're not actually helping them. Okay, here we go. Through a competitive bid process, third-party administrator to manage and distribute a portion of funds included in the Care First Community Investment Spending Plan. Non-Care First Community Investment Plan. What the hell is the difference between those two? Distributing 55 million over 3 years across 8 areas. Equitably increasing access to funding for organizations serving youth and those impacted by injustice and inequities within the criminal justice system. What a giant word salad that sounds like it would be admirable, but I guarantee it's a bunch of grift. Wow, look at that property that they've got. November of 2020, the voters of Los Angeles County approved Measure J, which set aside 10% of the county's revenue to address systematic racism through direct community investment and alternatives to incarceration. Yeah, there's definitely, I think there's got to be some stuff going on here. Um, hmm. All right, this is going to be the first one that we're gonna try to deep dive. We're gonna figure out some stuff. In prison treatment and youth interdiction at less than 8% profit. Um, yeah, maybe. I just have a hard time believing that they're accomplishing anything. Well, we'll see. What the hell is Epidarius? What does that word even mean? It's an ancient Greek city state in Peloponnesia. God of healing. Okay. Weird. I, I still don't understand why would an organization headed in Tucson, Arizona be getting all this money from California? So even if they're getting 8% profit, that means that that's $80 million that's leaving California to go into Tucson, Arizona. Why would we not have a California-based company doing that? Doug Bond is the president and CEO, a nonprofit focused on reentry, addiction recovery, and supportive housing. Yeah, that's a shady area, man. They keep addicts trapped. Let's investigate this guy a little bit. Interesting. He's got a bio on the California Department of Corrections and Rehab. Why would why would he have a bio on the California website? That is interesting. He's been instrumental in expanding California service, which has gone from serving 2,000 to over 20,000. So that's a nice increase for him. Um, Man, he's just on all of these committees. It's an interesting thread. Yeah, so I know how many are incorporated in Delaware, but Tucson, Arizona is not, particularly like corporation friendly location. And it's not just that they're incorporated there, it's that their headquarters are there, which means most of their staff and their office would be there. Okay, let's get back to the AI and see what they found. All right, so F001 with Medi-Cal find of its own 40% of FQHC wrap payments don't match an encounter. I don't know what the heck that means. We'll figure it out. Finding to this Amity Foundation. Exempt by statute. Okay. Let's read. Okay, so Codex is still working, and Grok is. Where's Grok at on here? Grok is done. Um, hmm. Okay, so it's added a bunch of data too. I'm gonna send Grok on a side quest. All right. All right, so I'm sending Grok on a side quest. And I have a side quest for you. Claude identified an organization, Epidarius, headed by Doug. I need you to do the deepest research possible to learn more about this organization, its leader, what political ties they have, what donations they make, where they receive money, where they have facilities, where they have leases from the state, especially if they're significantly different than market rate. Just go buck wild, bro. So let's let Grok do some dirt. And we're going to tell Claude. Claude's got some suggestions. And so we're going to say, yeah, keep going, bro. Codex is still humming over here. Codex has been fairly slow with the Soul upgrade. So, but it does get a lot of stuff done, and it's very thorough. I think it's deep diving through a bunch of Medi-Cal stuff, which is cool. I know that there's a bunch of waste going on there. Our entire medical system across the whole country is just a giant pyramid of fraud at every level. The pharmaceutical companies, the PBMs, the insurance, all of them are grifting money. In my opinion. I think that's all you have to do. I think you can say anything you want as long as you add the words "in my opinion," and I think it's legal. I think it's protected, right? Hey, what's up, Moral? How you doing, man? I didn't see I didn't recognize the name. Why didn't you join our Friday Night Vibes call, man? We had a good call last night. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas of other stuff I can chase down in here, definitely let me know. I'm literally just decided to spend my Saturday morning potentially doing wild goose chases to see what we could do. Neck deep in a project and lost time. That is life, man. Is it a good project at least, or is it an annoying project? Hopefully, it's at least an interesting project. Is it at least an interesting project? Yep, Codex found a thing here. The FAC ID is a 9-digit identifier, but automatic CSV typing converted to an integer and discards leading zeros. That is something that I cannot, I can't believe that Microsoft and Excel and all these other, like, that they haven't come up with a better way to handle CSVs and leading zeros. It's like literally the most frustrating thing ever that has it's been annoying for the 30 years I've been using Excel that it'll just automatically convert things. And the only interface that they have, at least in Excel, is that same interface from Office 95, where you've got to go through the wizard with the four screens, and then you've got to go through column by column and set which columns you want to be treated as text. Um, it's amazing to me that it's amazing that they can't come up with a better interface. All of the people and resources that they've got, and you just can't come up with something that can be like a smart import. Like it can't be that hard to like look through the data and be like, oh, hey, we found something that has leading zeros. This might be an identifier. Should be treated as text, yes or no? Like, just wonder what do these people do all day? I know what they do because I worked at a company. They sit around in unnecessary meetings, going to steering committees. But it's like at some point, come on, you guys, take a little bit of motivation. Got 5 people in the stream. Big time now. I don't know how exciting it is waiting on these tools. I really want to see what Grok comes back with this Epidurius thing here. I think that there is smoke on that fire. I can't prove anything, but just based on the market that they operate in, the size of them, and the fact that they're not even headquartered in our state, there's got to be something going on there, in my opinion. It said this is an anomaly lead package, not an accusation. Um, Therapeutic community reentry. They have 14 non contract bids, all from the California Department of Corrections, all non IT services. God dang, dude. Last year they got 305 million no bid authorizations. God, look at these financials. 2016 they had 16 million in revenue, and by 2025 they're at 231 million dollars. So that is 14 times revenue growth in 9 years. That is insane, man. If you were any kind of like public company, your valuation on your equity would have absolutely exploded with that kind of growth. Oh, found some conflict of interest transactions. Has audit significant deficiency in internal controls. Okay. Jennifer Sue Bond. So he's got family members on the board. I think so, based on the name. That would be my guess. Rod Mullen. Okay, political power ties. Media control clause. In the 2023 CBS CalMatters stop investigation, Amity's COO said their California Department of Corrections contract requires California Department of Corrections approval before talking to the media. That's very convenient. It means the biggest vendor is media gated by the agency paying them. $55 acres in Tucson, Arizona. What? Why? Why are we sending all this money to Tucson, Arizona? State pays them service contracts, including housing parolees. They own real estate, and they're capitalizing their campuses. All right, log it as findings, pulling PDFs, parse scheduling Ls. What's going on, Reverend Paul? How you doing, buddy? Just trying to see if I can find some fraud in the data.ca.gov. Hold on a second. Um, PSI alert early warning system for social political stress built on Peter Turchin's structural demographic theory. That sounds interesting. That social instability is not random. And those measurable pressures are being pushed by people for their own gains. Yeah, consistency is the key, man. If you want to build an audience, you just got to keep doing it every day, right? And just deal with the fact that there might be only 2 or 3 people on there, but you just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. So, yeah, this was just kind of a random. I discovered this website via my Twitter feed. So, this is california.data.ca.gov. So, we got 4,518 data sets that are forced to be public via legislation in California. What's up, Yasin? How you doing? And so what I did is I created one project folder and pointed Claude, Codex, and Grok all at the same project folder and told them that they were all going to be working together. So I've never done this where they're all working at the same time. And just trying to see what we can find here. So Claude's done. Let's read through this. There's a lot of reading. Open Fiscal is cracked. What does that mean? Live accounting system publishes 119 monthly vendor transaction files on an Azure blob. Found the manifest, wrote the scripts to pull and ingest it. Okay, so cracked must be good. And I think it's trying to be cool and use slang with me. I need to ask my teenager what cracked means. Is cracked good? Yeah, I mean, feel free to jump on that data.ca.gov, and if you've got any ideas of things to investigate, we'll do it. 315,000 transactions, 4.8 billion. Almost 15,000 vendors in that month. SAT replaces the PO data with current spending. That's good. 12 months are downloaded now. And it produced the best lead yet. That's saying a lot, because I think that Epidurius one, I think that there's probably some stuff going on there. I think there's for sure some stuff going on there, in my opinion. Finding 8 in April 2026, Payee Confidential, convenient, received $320 million. Most is benign, 32,000 of employee travel reversements, but 311 million sits at Cal Recycle in 7,200 transactions, averaging $43,000, categorized other special items of expense. Huh. Interesting. Payments that size aren't bottle deposit refunds, and recycling processors are businesses whose names normally appear. That's $3.7 billion a year with masked payees. The maybe legitimate program design explanation, but it's exactly the kind of thing worth decomposing across all 12 months once they land. I agree. Earlier threads resolved. This 3B Industries, institutional food clothing supplier. Finding 3 decomposed. 30.45 billion of exempt channel went to private suppliers. Half the top recipients are Medi-Cal managed care plans like Blue Cross. Codex is working through that anyway. Okay, so it's still working on getting 12 months. I don't actually have a goal, Ada. I just found that there's this massive treasure trove of California government data, so I decided to put all of my AI tools against it and just see what kind of stuff we can find. Literally a wild goose chase, literally feeling the vibe, letting it see what we get. Letting it see where we go. All right, let's get back to this shady prison reentry organization that they found. Okay. Leadership is Doug Bond, yeah. Jennifer Bond is on the board, and Anna Bond appeared as the deputy COO. So the CDCR secretaries are appointed, not elected. They don't raise campaign funds. I mean, that's one of the problems, dude. With all of these people with the most powerful positions, none of us get to choose them. Overlap with lobbying, revolving door firms, and board networks in LA, economic development, housing, and reentry. Rod Mullen, co-founder, was the CEO until 2018. He built the R.J. Donovan in prison relationship. Public histories linked to him. Sorry, I know that this is not that exciting just sitting here listening to me read. But vibe coding is a lot of reading. If you can't read, can have a hard time getting anything done. Current operating bench. The power network. So we got lots of names to chase down here. Amity is an open client of Mosaic Solutions and Advocacy. That session, Amity spent $230,000 on lobbying with $45,000 to Mosaic. Careful framing. Legal disclosed lobbying does not equal bribery. Sure, technically that doesn't equal bribery, but I think all of us are smart enough to read between the lines of what's actually going on there, right? But no one cares. No one cares because these people are fighting the Republicans. So freaking stupid. It's the cleanest politicians and corrections power overlap we have, and it sits next to 305 million concurrent CDCR no bid authorizations. Why is there no bidding process? Like $300 million, there should be a competitive bid. Why are we just giving that amount of money to an organization that's headquartered in Tucson, Arizona? That's insane. Didn't find large personal donations yet. That's fine. Okay, so it's got some more threads to pull with different databases. I need. All right, so I'm telling Grok to drop all these findings into the project to make sure that we don't lose it. Let's see back in the chat here. I've been ignoring you guys. Yeah, so not necessarily just overbilling Medi-Cal or Medicaid, really anywhere. Anything that we find right now, the first thread that came up was this weird organization that is headquartered in Tucson, Arizona, that has a 55-acre compound in Tucson, Arizona, that is getting hundreds of millions of dollars in no bid contracts from California corrections to do things like prison reentry and addiction therapy and just that whole layer of, there's so much shady stuff that's going on right now. I mean, if you go on X, you can see people like videos of it in San Francisco where there's just these organizations that are created to keep people trapped in addiction because that's how these people make money off of them, right? It's exactly like the for-profit prisons, like, right? Kind of wrong to lock people up and then make profit off of them. It's all weird. So, yeah, I'm interested in Obsidian. I just haven't used it. So it's public, is it open source and free? Because I love open source and free, as you know. So yeah, so that was the first thing that Claude surfaced this organization. So I've got Grok off doing side quests, researching the organization, researching the people attached to it, and just try to figure out whatever else we can find on the web. Yeah, I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to using it. I'm open to, the more tools, the better. I think Claude is still working. What is ChatGPT doing? All right. ChatGPT loaded and analyzed additional high value data sets. So it's going down a bunch of healthcare stuff. Okay. Um, so it's got data. Okay. So now, just asking ChatGPT, what can we do with all this data to find high value threads to investigate? Yeah, I got to look at that. Um, Tell you what, this one that it found though with Cal Recycle, and then this one payee, this confidential payee getting $320 million. Who is that? How do you confidentially give somebody almost a $500 million? I mean, even if you're new at Obsidian, you are more of an expert than I am because I've literally never touched it. These comparisons are all relative, my friend. Okay, so Claude said the 12-month harvest is complete and it immediately paid off. I like that. I like the optimism. We've got a full year of current state spending, 3.5 million transactions, $66 billion, 40,000 vendors. Oh, love it. I mean, just like honestly, just setting this up before AI, this would have taken months. And I've done it screwing around on a Saturday morning. I love it. Three findings came up. So this Cal Recycle payments to confidential aren't a fluke. They run every month, totaling 148 to 424 million dollars, totaling 3.3 billion for a year. It's 90% of Cal Recycle's own spending in these files, and 5% of all vendor named state spending. Next step is comparing against Cal Recycle's published program reports. If the number matches a known program like CRV redemptions, it's probably that. It's a transparency design gap. If not, it's a Public Records Act request candidate. California Department of Corrections is entirely absent from the state's vendor name transparency files. And Caltrans is missing from top spenders too. Shocker. That is a giant slush fund of waste. The state's flagship C, who we pay, is structurally cannot answer who does the corrections pay. Like that's one of our biggest chunks of spending is our prison system, and we can't even answer who they pay them. Awesome. Grok is still so Claude sees the work that Grok is doing. Ugh, my ear keeps itching this morning. You guys ever get that where like the deep inside of your ear itches? Ugh, drives me crazy. Strongest next move: pull the no vendor spending files to quantify what fraction of each department's spending is vendor invisible. Run the Cal Recycling Program Report comparison, or extend the crosswalk to the 40,000 Cal vendor names so the whole graph connects. Which one should we do? Let's go with the no vendor files. Actually, let's just do all three. Let's see how we're doing on tokens. Not too bad. I do think that we will end up running out of usage though on Claude. Codex has come back. What do we got here? More back to reading. Are you guys having fun watching me read? Best move is to stop treating every anomaly equally. Okay, so it sees the Amity and the cow recycle, but I've already got things working on that. So it's flagged private spending through exempt channels. Historical procurement shows 30.45 billion in exempt spending going to private suppliers, including 313.5 million attributed to unknown. And it's suggesting to decompose unknown by department, supplier ID, item description, zip, and acquisition code, and reproduce the analysis using current fiscal cal eProcure data. And then the managed care stuff, facility chains with violations and open penalties. The enforcement snapshot has 19.48 million in positive open balances. I mean, 19 million is like nothing. It's not nothing to me, but it's nothing to them. My stupid town wasted $28 million to build a pedestrian bridge. I need to point these tools at that. Get some local politicians arrested. How the hell do you waste almost $30 million on a pedestrian bridge? Grant stacking and double funding. 34,000 award records support searches for recipients funded by multiple agencies for similar projects. All right. Lead score. It's giving me too many. The next sprint is finish the cow recycle reconciliation. I think Claude is working on cow recycle, so hold off on that. And then Grok is working on Amity. If you Grok's working on Amity. If you found any additional info to help him update the documents, please. Build a managed care plan, score, combining fiscal exposure, enrollment growth, and enforcement history. Yes. Yes, for sure. Recipient address level grant stacking detection, yes. And load long-term care ownership and cost reports, yes. I think those are all really good targets. NorCal Town Bridge near Mall. It's in San Ramon. I live in Danville, but I live right on the edge of San Ramon. I'll show you. San Ramon pedestrian bridge, the Iron Horse Trail overcrossing. This bridge, this stupid little bridge, cost almost $30 million. Sorry, is the sound is probably coming through there. There you go. There's their bridge. There's your $30 million bridge. We got homeless people everywhere, but let's waste $30 million on a walking bridge. Chico did the same thing. Yeah, not surprising. The issue is, up until recently, none of us really had the tools to sort through and figure out what these people are doing, right? I mean, that's the scheme. They can be like, oh, well, we made all the data transparent, but then you go look at there's 4,518 data sets. They're all different. They're all disjoined. So before AI to try to attack this, like no one can figure this stuff out. It's a giant mess. But we've got the tools now. We can figure this stuff out and we can start figuring out where our money's going and hopefully get some of these people put in prison. Look at this dude. This guy. This guy has managed to siphon off hundreds of millions of dollars related to prison. It'd be amazing if he went up. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Literally just heard his name this morning. For all I know, he might be a good person, but the industry that he's involved in makes it very hard for me to believe that he's a decent person. I don't know. What do you think in the chat? Am I off base on that? Am I just being biased with my own opinions? All right, so ChatGPT is working on the managed care stuff. Let's see what Grokster's doing. Okay, so it's still deep diving. Oh, it was just updating. I want you to keep working on. All right, so now I'm telling Grok, I want him to keep working on Amity, try to find any legal proceedings against the company, any of their leadership, past or present, or any of the people they're connected to, even if they're cases that were dropped. I want to know about any accusations or any investigations that already exist. So, dude, we are at 10 concurrent viewers. Let's go. Double digits. Paul, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm kind of a big deal now, dude. I got 10 people watching me. You're going to look back and you're going to be like, man, I knew that guy yesterday when he only had 9 viewers. How much he has grown in just 24 hours. What? We got 11? Holy shit. That's literally a record. I actually briefly hit 10 yesterday, but I didn't want to count it because it was for like a minute. But yeah, we're at 11. Let's go. Hey, if you guys would like to share the stream, share a link on your socials, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. You would have my eternal love. And then, dude, you guys feel free to, jump in your own AI tools and point them at that same website, the data.ca.gov, and, start seeing what we can find, man. What's interesting is half of the data sets were these GIS files related to protected habitats, which we've sidebarred those for now. But I think that that might be an interesting project to pick up later. I would really like to make one giant map of California and plot out all of these protected habitats, and just see. I feel like there's something really interesting that could be built with all of that data. Sharks, shark attack, quarter pounders and Big Macs, shark attack. Bonus points if any of you guys know the artist that I am quoting there. Shark attack, quarter pounders and Big Macs. Are any of you cool enough to know who that is? They also have an amazing song. I like your mom and it's no fad. I want to marry her and be your dad. I like your mom. I like your mom. I like your mom. That one's on a B-side album, though. That's like a deep cut. I like your mom and it's no fad. I want to marry her and be your dad. I like your mom. I like your mom. Bouncing Souls, let's go. Now, did you actually know that or did you go Google some stuff? Don't be trying to like get like fake aura. Yeah, Bouncing Souls, man. Yeah, internet, no worries. If you don't know them, you should check them out. They're great. They have another song. Who's gonna throw the toilet? Who's gonna throw the toilet off the roof? It's about a party that they were at where somebody got evicted, so they went in there and destroyed the place before as like one last party, and it ended with them throwing a toilet off the roof. Who's gonna throw the toilet off the roof? The landlord said he's got his loss, and I got mine. You guys loving my horrible singing? Um, Nail salon hobby. What do you mean? It's my nail salon hobby. Oh yeah, so that was trying to build a website for a friend of mine that owns a nail salon. But I don't have Discord. I think I have Discord, but I never use it. I think I had an account because I was using Midjourney a couple years ago. No, I tried building a website for a friend of mine, but then she ended up just being a pain in the ass. And one of those people like, well, it's different than what I'm used to do, and like, all right, fine, forget it. Keep answering the phone like it's 1998. I was trying to set up a voice agent and stuff, but what are you gonna do? Not everyone is ready to make their life easier with technology. Damn, this is getting some big ass files, dude. These spending files are 1 GB per month. And saving PDFs. We got a lot of deep analysis going on here. All right, what did Grok find on this Amity organization? Legal investigation trail is now documented. No criminal case against Amity or any of its leaders. That's disappointing. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's see if we can fix that, Grok. No open source indictment, arrest, or fraud conviction. Civil lawsuits. Okay, here we go. Wrongful termination. Yeah, you probably got fired for a reason. Any kind of wrongful termination suit, I tend to lean on the side of the employer. If you got fired, you probably deserved it. No one that's running a business fires people for no reason. Um, employment complaint, multi-plaintiff caption, contested, recent civil filing. That all sounds boring. Stop ecosystem litigation and investigating. Clear and Convincing LLC sued the CDCR GEO plus GEO. I think is the one of the big public prison companies. Sued them after not winning a reentry contract. Cal Matters investigated the whole stop system for weak outcome tracking, self audits, bad subcontractors. Amity is a prime in that system and was quoted. It was not named a fraud defendant. Other oversight, connected people. Do not have a smoking gun. That's unfortunate. I was hoping for more from you, Grok. These people are they're slicker than we are. Active civil exposure as a large employer. Yeah, I mean, that's normal. Yeah, let's do it. Yes, please. Keep cooking, bro. Yeah, Grok is an interesting beast, man. Definitely has his own personality. Fable is still busy downloading massive files, and Codex is still busy, I think, downloading massive files. I think it's doing analysis too. It's going through doing some kind of like facility analysis for the long-term care. I know that long-term care is a shady industry too. Yeah, it's a fun one. So I don't have a Discord, but I do have a school community. I'll pop that in the chat. I need to get better at this live streaming. I know that like the guys that are good at this have like little bots that drop things into the chat and stuff like that. Give a shout out to your girlfriend Amy. Dude, be careful. You don't want me to be shouting out too hard on your girlfriend Amy. I might steal her. Is she hot? Yeah, that's my vibe code community. What's up, Amy? How you doing? You want me to spit game at you through your boyfriend's computer here? Just remember, he asked for it. I may be old, but I'm still talented. Got that old man strength. Dad strength. Self promo on other people's pages. Yeah, so I'm pretty cool here. My main thing in the community is people being decent to each other and then not getting sidelined on stupid political arguments. We can talk about politics as long as we're able to like respect each other, respect that all of us have different backgrounds and experiences and thus different opinions. But I'm not trying to have any kind of place where people comes in with their Trump derangement syndrome or any of their other toxic bullshit. Like there's plenty of other places on the internet you can do that. And then yeah, I definitely encourage people to come in and share their projects, show what they're working on. We've got some calls that we do, and it's all about everybody just trying to get better at using these tools and yeah, just grow together. Just trying to have a positive space for that, and be honest, not none of this like influencer, like, oh, I downloaded OpenClaw and now I make $3 million a month. Like none of that nonsense. But, I did use Claude Code and ChatGPT Codex, and hopefully we will find some government fraud. I think if I find something, maybe I just hand it over to Nick Shirley. That kid seems to have a pretty good audience, and he is pretty fearless. He puts himself in some very questionable situations. An open source page on data centers, how it helps us in the long run. Yeah, man, the data center thing is crazy. I really like, I kind of buy into the conspiracy there that, because I do think that China and Russia know how to use our social media to influence people. And I'm sure that we do the exact same thing in their countries too. I think that the opposition to the data center is really a Chinese operation because if they can slow us down from building, then they can catch up. Nick Shirley would be proud. Awesome. Yeah, man, I'm really impressed with that kid. And I don't understand. I don't understand how anyone on either side of the political aisle could have a problem with what he's doing. Like he's literally just trying to find places where they're wasting our money. Like, how can you be opposed to that? It's your money too. And even like, if you have a desire for how the money would be spent to improve the society that's different than mine, fine. But your organization that you want to get money is also not getting money because it's being stolen. So, like, we should all be able to be aligned on that. You know, I do not understand how anyone can be against what that kid's doing. Would I let Hermes take over? Absolutely not. Um, absolutely not. I I don't trust these things to let them run buck wild. OpenClaw So one of my earliest videos that popped off was OpenClaw because it was interesting. Once that actually became popular, because it's all open source, and so I just wanted to understand how it works. So I downloaded the open source code, and I was basically using Claude to just go through and ask questions, like using Claude as a teacher to teach me what was going on, so I could understand the agent stuff more. And then it just doesn't have enough security. So the biggest issue with these harnesses like OpenClaw and like Hermes is they are uh, massively open to prompt injection. And so basically, if you've got OpenClaw sitting there and it's connected, let's say that it's connected to your Chrome, Internet Explorer, whatever, Chrome, and it's also connected to your email. So you've got it set up to where if it sends, basically it's receiving emails and it's reading them. Those are treated as prompts. So there's literally nothing to stop me from sending an email saying, hey, go ahead and wire $25,000 to this account. And it gets it and it's like, oh, that's a prompt. I got to do it. Let me go ahead and open Chrome and log into Wells Fargo and send that guy 25,000. And that's like, like a very high level, but you just can't protect yourself from prompt injection. So I don't have any of these tools connected to any of my email accounts, calendars, or anything else because I don't feel comfortable with them yet. They still lie too much. They still make too many mistakes. It's just not worth it for me. Man, it's still downloading massive files. $39 trillion. Yeah, no, right, man. Like how? Um, want to switch over to Codex for some Vibe projects, and I have no idea what the best method. Um, what are you using now instead of Codex? Yes, and what are you trying to use now? I mean, if it helps, I can give your girlfriend Amy some private lessons, and she can teach you. I'm gonna keep busting your balls for putting your girlfriend's name in the chat there. I don't know if she consented to that. She should give you a hard time. She doesn't know me. Why are you exposing her to this weirdo on the internet? This weird old man. What do you? Yeah. So what are you using now though? Are you using Grok? Are you using Gemini? Are you using Claude? Like, do you have any tools that you're cooking on that you're trying to decide between Codex? All right, Grok's come back. A wage settlement for 850 grand. Labor enforcement. Yeah, nothing you can do there. Not really worried about employee lawsuits. Sure. It's looking at license discipline. Oh, from Claude Code to Codex. Yeah, I think a lot of people are making that move. I've been doing some testing and some side by side builds that I haven't yet been able to put into videos. Um, Fable still is a little better than Sol in terms of what it can build, um, but it's not a massive, massive difference. And the issue is it burns through tokens about 5 times as quickly as Codex does. So if I only had to have one or the other, I would probably pick Codex. But honestly, dude, I'm a huge advocate of just get a subscription to all of them. Get the $20 ChatGPT, get the $20 Claude, get the $20 Grok. That's $60 a month. Um, I would almost guarantee you're probably spending that much amount on cable TV or Netflix or some other unnecessary subscription. And, even if it's $60 a month, you can make that going and driving Uber in 2 hours, right? Everybody can find $60 a month and you get access to these tools and you can do amazing, amazing things. So it's definitely money well spent. An HOA project. That sounds okay. Tell us more about what you're trying to do there. There's very few things that I loathe more than an HOA. I actually live in an HOA right now for 3 more years while I'm stuck in California, and then I will never live in an HOA again. All right. Claude is done. Visible, invisible spending quantified. Strongest finding of the project so far. Wow, stronger than Cal Recycles. God dang it. Only 11.8% of state dollars have a visible payee. Let's say that again. 88% of the money that California is spending, we don't have a visibility into who they're giving it to. That's amazing. Department of Corrections and Caltrans are missing. Shocker. They're like two of the biggest ones. Yeah, shocker. Near invisible giants. The DHCS, what is that? The Department of Health and Child Services moves $16 billion a month with 0.7 payee visibility. So 99.3% of this $16 billion a month, we can't see what it's going to. And social services. Bonus defect. Two products contradict each other. Cal Recycle's vendor name total is 187% of its own all spending total. So two files. Man, dude, if I could find some fraud stuff going on in the California recycle system, that would be incredible. All right, Cal Recycle Confidential mostly resolved. The fund decomposition identified the masked 3.3 billion as the CRV bottle deposit program. Not surprising. The container recycling fund and the pet processing. So it's pay disclosure design choice, not a hidden program. One real question survived. The enacted budget's own fund show total fund expenditure of about $1.2 billion a year, while fiscal shows 2.8 billion flowing out, so roughly 1 billion more than the budget says the fund spends. That accounting basis gap is documented open, but with semi-annual CRV report as the next reconciliation source. Okay, so we're getting into the weeds here. I love it. Crosswalk version 2 build includes 40,000 fiscal vendor names, 115,000 raw names, 99,000 entries. The review file shrank from 100. First payoff query, current vendors versus Medi-Cal exclusion list came back a clean null. Everything is logged. The natural flow, turn F11, finding 11, into per department transparency scorecard. That's a publishable artifact. Reconcile the CRV accounting gap, or start working on the 38,000 pair review ranked by dollar impact. You're finding a lot of crazy stuff here. Let's go ahead and make sure that the documentation is completely updated. And I like the idea of the per department transparency scorecard. Let's check that out. And then is there anything that you've produced that is worth me looking into, or are we still gathering data and setting up databases? I think so. We're still doing mostly setup. A Canadian. Let's go. Are you on the east side or the west side of Canada? I love the Canadian Rockies, man. Whistler, Kicking Horse, Revelstoke, just amazing mountains up there. All right, what is Codex doing? Completed all 3 approved analysis threads. Grant reporting, 6 exact cross-agency duplicate-looking award pairs. LTC ownership. 2024 disclosure connect Mark Hancock and Jason Murray to the same 135 facilities, representing approximately $2.82 billion in reported healthcare revenue. This warrants ownership, related party, lease, staffing, and enforcement comparisons. I agree. Let's figure out who these 2 knuckleheads are. Managed care. Composite review places Kaiser, hate Kaiser, Health Net, Anthem, and LA Care in the first tier based on enrollment score. Yeah. Those are big, giant organizations that are way smarter than I am, so. Yeah, let's do that. Ontario. Yeah, Ontario is not a big snowboarding destination. I feel like we're decreasing. All right, I want to understand more of the relationships between the employees at there. Yeah, HOA. Okay, so let's see. Ride or die XAI guys. I love XAI. I think you should get all of them though. Get all three of them, man. $60 a month. Like there literally is no better way to spend $60 a month. I wouldn't be able to take Amy out to dinner for $60 a month. She's worth way more than it would be at least $100 a month for me, or $100 for me to take her out to dinner. So for $60 a month, you know, that's money well spent. Creating a place for homeowners to voice opinion and speak their minds, give people opportunity how to fix issues with HOA. So what's your biggest challenge with that project? I would guess that maintaining people's confidentiality would be a concern there. Like you want to allow people to like complain about their neighbor next door without being caught. I do support taking down HOA Karens though. It's always some awful retired Karen that has nothing better to do than like harass everyone else in the neighborhood. Get a life, Karen. So Claude is still building a scorecard. Man, these tools are working today, dude. Let's go back in our folder. They have built lots and lots of stuff. Data. How big is this folder now? Put in the chat. What's your guess on how big this project folder is so far? I'm guessing it's at least 20 gigabytes. Got lots of markdowns in here. 2 gigabytes? We're definitely way over 2 gigabytes. Because it was like 1 gigabyte per month or something for those Fiscal files. All right, last chance to guess. Oh, 3.6. Okay, well, you win. You were closest without going over. I said 20. You win. Congratulations. The price is right for you. Congratulations. Man, I love that show. Freaking Bob Barker. I feel like they made a good pick picking Drew Carey. He's a good host. He has fun with people. I think that he enjoys seeing people win. I think they made a good choice picking Drew. I haven't watched that in a long ass time though. I used to watch that every day when I was a stay-at-home dad. I would hit some Prices Right, and then a little Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady after that. I don't even know if they're still on because I don't actually have TV anymore. Do you ever watch Press Your Luck, Paul? That was my jam, dude. Anytime I was homesick from school, I got to watch Press Your Luck. Love that freaking show. Okay, so it's outlined. Grok has outlined all of the circular relationships. I need to compact it, dude. We are up to 60% of our Grok usage. All right, let's do a compact. So watch this magical compact. So we're at 315K out of our 500K, so 63% of our token window. I'm going to hit compact, and I would guess it's going to be less than 10%. Yeah, dude. That was the best thing ever. I remember sitting around as a kid thinking, I was like, thinking that there was a pattern. But the fact that that dude did it and like the way he did it, recording it and slowly watching it on the VCR and figuring out the pattern, it's so freaking cool. And then he ended up losing all the money later in some stupid radio scheme to find a serial number on a dollar bill. But yeah, that price, the way that he figured it out, that's like legendary, dude. Legendary move. They tried bringing it back, but it was never the same. Yeah, so we're down to 4.3. So see how that compact that went from using 63% of our context window to down to 4%? Like that's something we want to be monitoring and doing when we're working with these tools. A show called Find the Fraud. Maybe. Hopefully I find something, man. I would be shocked if I find something my first day out, but it is interesting. All right, can you So now I'm asking Grok, can you make some high quality visualizations of this stuff? Markdowns are hard for humans to comprehend. Let's make some PowerPoint demonstrating these relationships and findings. Some of my favorite commands. I mean, the only ones I really use, honestly, are plan, design, compact, session info is a good one. Sessions. I don't use very many of the commands inside Grok and ChatGPT Codex or inside ChatGPT and Claude Code. I tend to just let it run. What is this doing? Open that. Why? Why is it making shit in my documents folder? It's trying to do something outside of this folder, which no. No. Make everything here. You don't need to access other folders. No. So hyperframes is more for generating video. It would be good, but it'll be a massive overbuild, and it takes a long time for it to render hyperframes. I just want to start seeing some diagrams. You'll see whatever we get out of it first is probably going to be garbage. It's not really going to make a lot of sense. So we're going to end up having to massage it a lot. Yeah. Everything stays in the project folder. Let me move the scorecard. You never should have tried to do it the other way anyway. You never should have tried to go outside of this folder. I didn't give you permission to do that, bro. You stay here. I made this folder to keep you contained, bro. That's why, so that's the reason I don't connect tools like Hermes and these other things and just let them run. These tools try to do a little bit too much. This, you're kind of like dealing with teenagers a lot of times where they're just trying to wait until dad's not looking and then do some shit they're not supposed to do. Fitbit for fraud. I love it. Dude, we're back up to 11 viewers. Let's go. Cheers. Coffee cheers. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock. I still drink my coffee. I'm going to have to eat at some point. I haven't eaten today. Ooh. ChatGPT's finding some stuff. The LTC ownership cluster has resolved to PAX Group through its own SEC filings. Let's go. We're bringing in financial documents. It raises the thread's priority. PAX disclosed 3 DOJ civil demand subpoenas, including an investigation of its California SNF. I don't know what an SNF. For possible False Claims Act issues under Medicare's patient-driven payment model, plus an SEC investigation and 2024 financial restatement. These are ongoing investigations, not findings of liability. I'm preserving the filing and tying it cautiously to the facility level data. Yeah, I'm really interested to continue digging into this medical data and looking for clusters of like weird billings. I think that there's a lot there, probably. Again, this data was just always too hard to do anything with. So even though it was there, no one would ever find anything because it just took so long to dig through and figure out what you were looking at. But not with Soul and Fable. We can find it out in a couple of hours. We are cooking. Oh, so this is my transparency report. All right, I don't like opening the Claude browser. I don't really like it. All right, California publishes who it pays for 12 cents of every dollar it spends. Department of Department scorecard of payee visibility on Open Fiscal. This is insane. 40 billion spending, 5 billion paid, over 5 major departments missing from the books entirely. I mean, these are all of the ones, dude. This is the ones where all the unions are at siphoning off money. Department of Corrections, Caltrans. I need to point it at CalPERS. I know for sure that there's some stuff at CalPERS because I did 2 years of consulting at CalPERS, and the things that I saw would just absolutely blow your mind. We're gonna send them looking through CalPERS next. CalPERS and CalSTRS. That's another. So there's two giant pension funds that are separate from each other. They're right across the river from each other in Sacramento. So you've got CalPERS, which is the Public Employee Retirement System. I believe it's the biggest pension fund in the country. CalSTRS is the state teachers retirement system. So right away, all of those functions are duplicated. And I want to say it's a 5-to-1 ratio. So for every employee at CalPERS, there's 5 consultants and they're billing. I was getting $250 an hour working for CalPERS. And that's not including the, $100 an hour markup that the agency that got the contract was getting. So like the state was getting like $350, $400 an hour billing for my work. And I'm just one. Crazy. Department scorecard. Wow, so it scored all of these. Department of Education. Man. So it's got a bunch here where the visibility disagrees. So Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, 98% visible. Congratulations. High Speed Rail Authority, 96% visible. There's no way. We got to dig into that more. I want to know where that $100 billion went. State Compensation Insurance Fund. A lot of the California state universities don't have visibility. Interesting. Okay. I don't really know what I can do with this yet. But we've got something. We've got some kind of output. Annual spending. Community Colleges Board of Governors, $427 million. Why? So this one irritates me, man. So the University of California, we're spending, $514 million, $500 million. Most kids in California now can't get into UC schools. Like, it's very hard to get into UC schools because something like 40 to 60% of all the kids that are getting in are student exchange visas because they get triple the tuition. So all of us taxpayers are paying for this system, and none of our kids can actually get into it. Again, something that everybody on both sides of the aisle, we should all be annoyed by that. Like, American kids deserve our education resources first. And then after all of our kids can get a good education, then we can start worrying about educating other people's kids. But until we can take care of our kids first, we don't need to worry about other countries' kids. First five, California. All right, cool. Claude's doing some stuff here. What was the one I wanted to look into more? Oh, the high-speed rail and CalPERS. All right, what do we got here? Let's shut this down because I don't like looking at this stupid sidebars. SCO local government data is still down. Fiscal backfill and the external connection layers. Cal access lobbying, public pay salaries. Let's build the external connection layers. All right, what we got here going on in here in the chat? T100 Terminator, baby. Get 10% as a finder's fee. I wish. My favorite commands: relational app like Fitbit, ICD 10 codes, and medical billing. Yeah, so what you're describing, scrubbing the Medicaid and Medicare database, that we're definitely leading towards that. I just don't think we have all the data set up now. So I've got Codex working on pulling in some of the Medicaid stuff, but I think that there's a lot of stuff you can find with the Medicare billing, whether it's clusters of the same codes. I think that there's correlation that you can do between pick the average, so the average amount billed per population, and then calculate that for each zip code, and then look for zip codes where you've got just a massive outlier in terms of the per population spend on a certain type of thing. That'll help you find some fraud clusters. But most of what we're doing today probably is not going to give me a lot of useful output because we're just doing a lot of setup. And literally, I just came up with this idea like 2 or 3 hours ago. So how long has this live been going? All right, so Grok has made some PowerPoint decks. So let's go see what we got there. Love the PowerPoint. Who else loves PowerPoint as much as I do? Docs, presentations. I love me some PowerPoint. Amity findings overview. All right, baby, let's get in some PowerPoint. Four linked findings: no bid concentration, lobby revolving door, legal and compliance, circular relationships. I wonder what this 1990 revenue is. Mosaic Solutions sits between Amity and Sacramento. We should understand more about them. Let's have Grok. So I'm just asking Grok, you mentioned Mosaic Solutions. Can you do a deep dive into them as well? I don't know anything about them or how they connect to anything. So let's have Grok pull on that thread. It's something to do with lobby. So Amity, 230 grand total lobbying, 45 grand of that is to Mosaic. And Mosaic, okay, so here I see. So Mosaic has key partners that were employees at the California Department of Corrections. And then the California Department of Corrections decides how much contracts Amity gets. So it's all circular, right? Civil wage exposure. Again, I don't really care about these employment cases. Advocacy overlap. Innocent readings we keep on the table. What still needs to be chased? Multi-year Form 625. I don't know what that is, but let's cooling off timelines. I think that's, isn't that like the amount of time that you're not allowed to get a job at a contractor for your agency? Bottom line, a top California Department of Corrections no bid reentry vendor sits inside a dense revolving door web. Sounds kind of shady. Okay, cool. What's our other PowerPoint here? Circular relationships. How people who once ran California's prison system later got paid to influence the budget and contracts that fund the same reentry market. That is saucy, Grok. Ooh. Let's read that again. That's very saucy language. How people who once ran California's prison system later get paid to influence the budget and contracts that fund that same reentry market. I like it. Grok's crushing. So this is a 501c nonprofit. There's no shares. There is like money loop. This PowerPoint kind of sucks, dude. Should have some infographics in here. Okay, so dollars is inside the loop. So we got 305 million that's getting awarded. 59 million. 59 million of Department of Health and Child Services capital grants, a campus build. Why would we be paying $60 million to build their facilities? Why wouldn't that come out of their own profit margin? 231 million of Org 990 revenue. We got to figure out what this Org 990 stuff is. Make a note of that, you guys. Org 990. We got to dig into that more. I don't know what that is. How influence and money recirculate. California legislator budget to Mosaic Solutions, Amity Healthcare West Care, and the California Department of Corrections. People who set or oversaw CDCR reentry later get paid via Mosaic to influence the budget apparatus that funds Amity's contracts. Wow. Dude, freaking PG&E. Yeah, they're the worst. I think San Francisco's getting rid of them. They were talking about that. I don't know if that ever got finalized or not. The strongest CDCR personnel overlap. Oh, they brought in Schwarzenegger and Brown in here. Let's go. We're hitting both sides. I love it. See, that's the key to get people to listen. You got to implicate the Republicans and Democrats together, and then no one can complain. Scott Kernan. Scott and Darby Kernan and Kathy Kernan. Okay, why are all three of these? GEO Group Director. GEO was that public prison company, I think. So he was okay. So he was a director for the California Corrections until August of 2018, and then he joins the board of GEO in September. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Competitors share one Sacramento shop. I'm not really sure what that means. Reputational access and city site board overlap. Soft institutional capture and LA public grant housing. Yeah, this is a big one that's growing. This like outpatient housing and the homeless housing and the addict housing. That's a big money pot for these people. Um, it also connects to like the construction unions too, right? Because they can like create these big projects where they're going to drop $100 million to build some facility, and oh hey, by the way, who's building it is some like union construction firm that's all connected to them all. So it's all a giant honeypot. From agent to overseeing the system, advocating for vendors. Yeah, some of these are kind of hard to read. These aren't really great diagrams. But still, this is a pretty solid deck. This was Grok that builds it, and no one's out there talking about, Grok having great PowerPoint skills. Um, this would have taken a really long time to build manually. A long time. I've spent thousands of hours in PowerPoint. This would have taken a really long time to build. Let's see how it has the little colored bar over here on the side. You guys should never put those in your projects because it's a dead giveaway that something was vibe coded. Okay, cool. So it was supposed to be investigating this mosaic thing. Let's see what we came back with here. Um, Sacramento lobbying and consulting firm. Yeah. Yeah, this is a thread to understand. I know that there's a bunch of these kind of companies there. There's also a bunch of companies in the California contracting system because they have these like these ways to award contracts. Like I know one of them is DVBE, disabled veteran business enterprise. So what they'll do is like some kind of veteran that has some kind of contract, he'll just use his name to set up an organization, and then so he's able to get the contracts, and then they all funnel through to everyone else. Brett, I'm not really sure about the audio. I think everyone else can hear, unless my audio cut out. Um, some of the rest of you guys. Amy, can you still hear me? Let me know. Let me know, Sugar Cakes, if you can still hear me. Dude, I'm just gonna fire on your girlfriend all day. Never should have given me her name. Amy. All right. Multi-year Cal access. Let's do A and C, and then also I don't understand what the 990 thing. Yeah, I don't understand what that 990 revenue, what that is supposed to mean. I want to understand that more. This org 990. All right. 8A program is the disaster. What's 8A? CSU UC 20 years ago. Now it's off the chart. And has education improved? Yeah, no, it hasn't, dude. I mean, that one's, personal to me because I have two kids in high school, and both gifted. Probably won't get into a UC school because it's packed full of kids from other countries. So like my older one is looking at like, hey, do I just go to community college for a year? Because then it's easier to get into those schools as a transfer student than it is as a freshman. Just crazy. Take a kid. He's literally 2 years ahead in math. He's, a sophomore doing pre-calc with the seniors. He's going to end up having to go to community college because all these stupid kids from China and India are in UC Berkeley. Not fair. All right. Codex high value threads are now source verified in document. Grants portal duplicates the entire 24 award. All right, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this. Okay. Codex has just been investigating for too long. I'm kind of like forgot what they were doing. So Claude's done with something finally. All right. Damn, dude, we're at 54 tables already. That's crazy, dude. We've built a relational database with 54 tables, 12.3 million rows in what, 3 hours? Here's the rundown. We've got the Cal Access lobbying layer, pulled the Secretary of State's 1.5 gigabyte raw export and loaded the full lobbying chain. Okay, that's got to be interesting. Registrations, employee firm relationships, quarterly payments, activity expenses, campaign contributions. Cal Access filings have amendments that silently duplicate rows. Shocker that the state has shitty technology. It's a real shocker. Very hard to believe that. Public pay compensation layer, 4 tables, 1.2 million records. Position level wages, overtime benefits, and pension formulas. All right, let's go. Let's figure out who's getting all this money. Publishes positions, not names. I'm sure we can figure out the names. The immediate payoff. So finding 9 sharpened substantially. With the lobbying tables I loaded, I extracted Amity Foundation's complete lobbying payment history, something the Cal Matters reporting only had a snapshot of. All right, I'm not looking yet. What do we find? Direct payments to Kate Consulting. Direct payments to Kate Consulting. Matthew Kate is the former CDCR secretary. Before this, he was only known to be connected via Mosaic Firm's partnership, Amity paying his own firm directly. During exactly the window their no-bid CCR contracts grew from 5 million to 9 figures. Is the single most review-worthy fact in this thread. Let's go. Mosaic Solutions added $60K a year. Ballard Partners and New Momentum Strategies. $1 million in lobbying fees. What does that money get spent on? Yeah. Quick pay data screen also ran highest comp positions. Top results are hospital district physicians and CEOs. Shocker. Still open from the connection layers. Campaign contribution receipts table. Who donates to whom? Let's go. Compensation backfill years. Wiring the lobbying employer names into entity crosswalk. Yeah, dude. Want me to keep going? Keep going with all. You're crushing it. All right, so I told Claude, keep going with everything. You're crushing it. I do want to understand the lobbying spend more. They spend $1 million, but there's any way to know what that actually is? Are they just handing over bags of cash, or what does that money do? Do any of you guys actually understand lobbying? I know it's this thing, oh, lobbyists, the lobby spend, but what does that mean? Did they just go in the office and like, okay, here's 20 grand, that's my lobby? Like what is that? What would Nick Shirley do? I love it. We should add a Nick Shirley skill in here. Yeah, that kid. He puts himself in some dangerous positions, man, because there's a lot of those whack jobs that want to do physical harm, and he's still out at those rallies. I worry for him. I worry for his personal safety. I have a feeling one of those people is going to do something to him, and he doesn't deserve it. He's just trying to help our country. He's a very brave young man. We need more people like him in our country. Yeah, minority-owned companies yeah, it's the same thing for sure. Tribal contracting. Yeah, but so I'm never gonna like hate on any kind of fraud that's gone to like the native tribes because we completely screwed them over. So I feel like they kind of deserve to win some back. If you ever go spend some time driving around and seeing some of the native reservations and how these people are still forced to live, and if you can't have sympathy for what they go through, something's very wrong with you. I don't know what part of Colorado you're in there, Paul, but I've been to some of the ones out there, like the one by the Black Canyon, where one side of the road is like green and lush because the white people drilled a hole through the canyon and took the water, and then the other side is all brown and dead because it's the native reservation. Like there's like literally like a line where it goes from like livable to barren wasteland. It definitely does not make you proud of our country. All right, best move is to stop broad. This is Codex. Stop broad collection, convert the data into a small number of evidenced investigations. Prioritizing the PACS, nursing home billing, yep. California grants portal, yep. Missing and opaque state spending, yep. Sounds good. I agree, bro. Keep cooking. Just plan on putting all your stuff into Markdown so that all the models can use them. And then as things become interesting, I will ask you to make PowerPoints and other things. But for now, just keep cooking. You are crushing it. Let's find these crooks and hold them accountable. Yeah, man. Natives get screwed over for sure. All right, what will we find on this mosaic thing? Form 990 is an annual public tax return nonprofits file. When we said that 990 was 231 as total org revenue, not lobby spend. Okay, so I'm not really sure what that. Spent $1.8 million and 27 clients. Huh? Mosaic paid PG&E Fire Victims Trust. Wait, what? We're finding interesting grants. Next high value move is PRA eProcure for Health Right and West Care and GEO. So we can see whether Amity's no contract bid growth is unique in real dollars or just unique in the channel. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's keep doing that. We'll get Grok working again. Claude Codex is still working. Claude is still working. We are at 50% of the usage before I get stopped out. Sola should be good. I got a pro account. Yeah, we barely even made a dent in the ChatGPT use. Grok, I don't really even know how to see my total Grok use. I haven't really ran into a problem. I can see that I need to compact that though. We probably need to go ahead and compact the Claude window too. All right. What would Nick Shirley do? I don't think I've actually found any fraud yet. Just like a lot of data setup. It's trying to explain lobbying to me. So it's salary. What these people do is get them meetings. So it's literally just paid because they can be like, hey, give me a meeting. That's for sure shady. Proposed bill language, budget change proposals. Disclosure gap that matters. California only requires disclosing broad interest, criminal justice reform, and payment totals. Unlike federal lobbying disclosure, there's no itemization of which bills or budget items were worked. So the 1 million is legal and disclosed, but what it specifically asked for is invisible. The way to reconstruct that is hearing records and comparing budget line items before or after. Oh, I like that. See, I like how like these tools are able to like stitch together data and find patterns. We are going to find the patterns that matter, people. The multi-gigabyte campaign contributions table is extracting and loading in the background. That's the other half of the influence pictures. And it will let us ask, did Amity's officers, board members, or their lobbying firm partners donate to legislators who sit on the board subcommittee that fund their contracts? I'll run these queries the moment it lands, then wire the lobbying employer names into the entity crosswalk so state vendors who lobby becomes a single reusable join for every future investigation. I do feel like we're putting a lot of resources towards this Amity. But it's okay. Got to start somewhere. It's wild. 88 cents of every dollar. There's no transparency. Wild, you guys. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. Wild, wild stuff. At some point, I'm going to end up needing to have to eat. Food time. I think so. I don't want to sit here and stuff my face on camera. I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to that through a high quality microphone. All right, so we got some budget stuff back. Grok's still mapping things. Burger time, burger time. I don't think we've even had a burger all week. We've been cooking a lot this week. I need to get some ground chicken. I got. Oh shit! Did I not go to the post office? Oh, I'm gonna have to jump off. I gotta go drop off a bunch of packages, a bunch of eBay packages to the post office. They close at 2. So we got about 5. I don't have a Be Right Back page, but I do have this privacy page. Look at that. Na, 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 na. You can't see me. Na, 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 na. Thanks, man. Yeah, a few more minutes. I'm gonna let these jobs run, and then I'm gonna end up having to shut the stream down. I got a bunch of packages that I gotta take and drop off to the post office so that my eBay metrics don't get screwed up. Might jump back on again this afternoon. Maybe take an hour or two break, go relax. let my head clear. Jump back and keep coding. What did Grok do? Grok's still documenting. All right, so Claude's done. The influence picture is now in the database and documented. Closing out this campaign contributions. We have 20 million itemized contribution records from Cal Access. There's got to be something there. Who pays the lobbyists and who donates to the campaigns? Okay, cool. That would be fun to be able to figure out that spider web. Amity's influence spending on lobbying is professional lobbying, barely any campaign cash. Gifts spread across a lot of small donations, including Speaker Reba's. Oh, Bonta, shocker. Go do some research on Bonta, you guys. His wife, I'm pretty sure his wife was the one that wrote the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Wait, am I going to get caught up in that? I don't give a shit. Bring it. Come at me, bro. Strategy is unambiguous. They buy access and expertise, including former CDCR secretary. One amusing data lesson preserved for the team. Amity Akamoto, orthodontist, taught us that person name matching must always be corroborated by the employer field. Vendors who lobby. So we now have 8 sources and 109,000 entries, including lobbying clients. Beyond the routine county city lobbying, Deloitte Consulting, $311 million in state payments over 12 months while running an active lobbying operation. Encore Consulting, Accenture, all wonderful organizations, I'm sure. All legal, all disclosed, technically legal. Ethical? Who knows? Okay, so Claude wants to apply the Amity template at scale. Does lobbying spend precede contract growth for these vendors too? I would like to know that as well. Codex is doing board rankings. Has more human ready leads than data gaps. Yeah, I think the lobbying versus contract growth timeline is good. The fiscal backfill overlap, I think, is good. Codex is done. Agency questions packets contains neutral record-based questions for PAX-related regulators. Questions for the California Grants Portal Administrator. Okay. I like it. I like it. Tired. Statewide grant cohort scan. Oh, that's database. Multi-agency, multi-award cross-agency duplicate. Okay. Okay. And let's see if Grok is done. Grok is done. I think this might be our stop for right now. Background extract finished. Yep. All right. I think we are going to pause here. I have to get some food. I have to take stuff to the post office. And I just need to give my brain a break because I've been cooking for like 3 hours straight. I need to take a little break. I probably will come back to that this afternoon, maybe in a couple hours. So hope to see you guys again. Thanks for being here watching me, and let's keep pushing this forward and find some of these knuckleheads. All right, see you guys later.